Our electric motor division, 645, your engine maintenance manual. Section 4, contents, description, inspection in the engine, cleaning, measuring liners for wear, oversized liners, removing liner ridge, honing, mark used liners and pistons. Service status, specifications, equipment list. Alright, engine maintenance manual, section 4, description, cylinder liner, figure 4. Figure 4.1 consists of a cast having two separate water jackets supplied with a braid for the casting. A row of air inlet ports complete encircles the linear. A flange outboard side of the linear below the ports provides connection for the linear water supply line. Water deflector prevents the inlet water from impinging directly into the inner liner wall. The inner liner wall circulates around the bottom of the liner, progressing upward. Discharge cylinder heads to the 12 drilled holes. The counterbore around each drilled hole accommodates Teflon heat. Damaged silicone water seal, figure 4.3, which seats the water passages cylinder head and is installed. Copper-clad steel gasket provides combustion seal between cylinder head and liner. So you have your pilot studs, your water jacket, air inlet ports, water inlet lower seal grooves, top poly, and bottom Viton. Alright, maintenance instructions. Inspecting in the engine. Airbox handhold covers provide access for the cylinder liner upper bores with the oil pan handhold cover to provide with the lower bores. Open cylinder test valve positions either with below the ports or upper bore inspection near top dead center, low bore inspection. Check the linear walls for scuffing scoring above the ports. Inspect externally with the evidence of water leaks at the liner at the cylinder head gasket water inlet line. Alright, procedure qualification linear contains section. Procedure removal of the installation of the liner and complete cylinder power assembly contains section 5. Alright, general liner cleaning procedures should be according to with the accepted practice recommended supplier cleaning material. All water, scale, deposit foreign material which are detrimental water seal life should be removed from the seals and counterboards. Details construction cleaning tool figure 4.4. Figure 4.2 shows the water inlet deflector, and then 4.3 shows the water seal. Water seal, hot dam liner, heat dam liner. Alright, when the liner is removed from the engine, the tool should be used prior to washing the liner so that all the loosened deposits will be removed in the wash. Only the grade abrasive specified with figure 4.4 should be used to clean the counterbores without damage for the seating surface. Insert the tool's electric air power drill turned up to around 2,000 RPMs. Place a few drops of lubricating oil into the counterbore, exerting very light pressure on the tool. Rock the tool back and forth slowly for approximately 5 seconds per counterbore. When the cylinder head is removed, the liner remains installed in the engine. Use the T handle with the tool to manually clean the counterbore so the deposits will not enter the cylinder. Alright, measuring liners for wear. The cylinder liner should be measured in planes parallel with the right angle with the crankshaft with the interior with the liner clean before measuring bore. Check for the physical defects that would require the rework of the liner. A liner bore gauge, figure 445. Figure 45, standard inside micrometers may be used to measure linear bore diameter. The gauge is special designed for linear liner bore measurement. The provide the accurate measurement when used carefully. The 3-prong center measuring ends that fits in the liner bore. A dial indicator mounted on the upright extends down to the measuring prongs, gives instant reading of the bore diameter. Upper right allows the gauge to be raised, lowered, and bore with visual measure shown on the dial. A master gauge is used to calibrate the bore gauge. A dial gauge locator should be used with a linear liner bore gauge. The gauge locator fits over the top of the liner and hangs down inside the liner bore. It's 4 drilled holes spaced at 4 half-inch drilled holes spaced 2 inches. 2 inches and 6 inches, 12 inches and 16 inches from the top and locate the measured position. A special box to protect the liner bore gauge also provides a place for the master gauge and the gauge locator. Note, dimension wear limits listed in the tab end of the section. These cylinder liners have the bore diameter which falls between low and high limit. The bore diameter at the port relief zone and has differential dimension limits. Alright, accumulated liner, piston wear, increased piston linear clearance and clearance limiting factor, time of reapplication. No linear should be matched with a new reused open diameter. Result and piston linear clearance exceeds maximum limit at 6 inches below the gasket face liner. Liner bore should be checked out around 2 points at 2 inches and 6 inches below the top liner. Figure 4-6 using dial indicator. So 4-4 is your counter bore cleaning tool. Then linear bore gauge. Take two readings 90 degrees apart. Determine the wear out of round. Should out of round exceed the limit, the limit liner must be rebound the next oversize regardless of other measurements which may stay limits. Using maximum piston liner clearance guide, worn liners. Worn liners may be used and provided against not over round limit to match the piston, the diameter not exceed limit, piston limited clearance, maximum piston clearance. So this is your liner measurement points, liner bore limited of the ring travel, piston to liner clearance, liner bore, the port relief zone, liner bore. Usage is obtained by surface assembly within the clearance limits. Alright, so the liner will be tapered with the maximum wear normally occurrence of the 6 inch below the top of the limit of the piston ring travel. Check the wear at least 2 readings at 90 degrees within specified limit. The liner worn dimension will have some of the stock to allow cleaning up the bore. First oversize. A limit exceeding the way not be possible to rebore liner. First oversize. It would then have to be rebored to the next oversize, losing great amount of wear life. Consequently, suggests no liner being reinstalled if the bore diameter is at maximum wear exceeds the allowable limit. Alright, your oversized liners. Liners can be bored to 30 thousandths to 60 thousandths inch. Oversized liners do not. Liners dimensions can be determined increasing standard liners figures at 30 thousand, 60 thousand inch. The case of standard and 30 thousand inch oversized liners worn beyond the limits may be returned to electric motive for refinishing next oversize. Alright, removing liner bridge. After a long period of use, the wearing ridge caused by the piston ring action will appear on the top of the liner bore. After the liner is removed from the engine, the wear ridge must be entirely removed before honing the liner. Unless complete removal of the wear ridge is accomplished, it is not possible to leave the probe home. The critical area of the liner top ring travel. In addition, removal of the wear ridge precludes any possibility of interference in new piston rings. The cylinder liner ridge reamer, figure 4C7, is used to remove the ridge of the top side inside bore of the liner. Reamer can also be used. The oversized liner reamers can be either manually or motor operated. The reamer is motor operated. Speed reducers must be used, which is mounted on the reamer. The operator motor used with a speed reducer can ordinarily have heavy duty electrical drill having no load speed, approximately 500 RPMs. Figure 4.7 shows the application of the liner, ridge, reamer, and speed reducer. Alright, your extra cutting blades may be obtained for the reamers. Refer to surface data at the end of the section. Reamer cutting blades may also be resharpened, and dull cutter necessary only to lightly grind the leading angle, which does the cutting using grind wheel suitable for the grinding tungsten carbide tools. Clearance of 8 degrees must not be exceeded for the grinding. It may be provided less than more the clearance. The cutters may not stand up if the given clearance. In addition, with cutters should not be used with the guide with the portion reduced at up to 21/32 of an inch. Resharpening because the guide will not extend far enough past the pinhole to prevent undercutting. Resharpening surfaces on the cutters. Refer to the reamer manufacturer. Alright, your liner ridge is removed as follows. Oil the liner wall just under the ridge. See that the felt back in the back of the cutter in the full oil. Retract the cutting blade. It will be used on linear wall reamer installed. Position depth stop blade retarder cam. Position cutter blade bottom of the travel low reamer linear liner until the depth stop rest at the top of the liner. Tighten reamer centering nut on the whole reamer direction and correct the piston in the liner. Rotate the reamer to the checking in the center, adjusting if required. Operate blade retarder cam to swing stop out of the way. Release cutter so it can be moved out of the contact liner wall. Operate reamer manually until the ridge is entirely removed, carrying out of the cut into the chamfer liner and necessary. After completing the ridge removal, remove the reamer and cleaner. Liner wiping off oil cuttings, honing liners. After removing the cylinder liner, ridge liner must be honed with the final finish. The purpose of honing is removal of the glaze to provide proper seating surface for the new piston rings. Light scuffing of the liner wall may also be removed by honing. However, the conditions too advanced, the liner should be scraped off the reboard oversized depending upon its condition. Equipment required to perform a honing operation includes the honing kit, electrical drill, stone cleaning brush, cylinder boring fixture. As the operation of wet homing, suitable container is required for honing liquid honing fixture. See the surfaces data at the rear of the section description part with the numbers of the equipment required. Honing procedure. Ensure that the honing kit is assembled the appropriate manufacturer's instructions, centered, and it contains a match and stone of guides. Inspect the stone cutting surface for cleanliness and cleaning of the wire brush if required. Install the line properly within the hone fixture, and then clean the hone shank with the drill motor. Insert the hole into the liner. Stones should not protrude more than a ½ inch out of the liner bore. Rise the center pinion assembly to 1/4 inch. Turn it to counterclockwise. Stones roughly against the bore diameter. Lower the pinion assembly until it engages the gear with the home body. Expand the stones firmly in against the liner wall, turning the wing wrench portion of the pinion assembly clockwise direction. Always maintain firm storm pressure against the liner wall. Ensure the fast stock removal the accurate work. It may be necessary to increase the pressure after several strokes in pressure. Correct the stones of emitting steady grinding noise. A continuous floating of the liner surface mainly maintain kerosene honing oil during the honing operation. If the liner is not scuffed, merely break the glazed surface of stroking rate about 30 complete cycles per minute to reproduce the crosshatch pattern shown in figure 49. Alright, figure 4-8, honing cylinder liner, drill motor, linear studs, remove the clear show how tool application, driving shank, center pinion assembly, stone support, stone master holder guide. Alright, 10. If the liner is scuffed, remove the matter buildup of the scuffing. Do not attempt to remove the isolated dirt scratches that do not significantly affect the operation. Honing all of these scratches needlessly reduce the linear life, liner life. After the surface has been cleaned up, the hone should be removed with a stone wire brush. Remove the loading of the stone. The liner should then be honed with cleaning stone, usually heavy pressure, to obtain good cross-sectional hatch pattern. Do not remove any more metal necessary to obtain the desired finish. Cleaning. The liner must be thoroughly cleaned and abrasive with the iron dust of it or after honing. If the liners are not properly cleaned after honing, tiny particles left in the honing operation will attack liners, rings, pistons, cause excessive wear in a short period of time. Liner is cleaned also as follows. Wash liner with detergent, hot water using stiff fiber brush. Rinse the liner thoroughly with clean water and wipe dry. Swap linear clean rag with the SAE number 10 oil. It's important to use this oil to pull the abrasive material from the pores of the liner. Wiper liner to clean the dry. Wipe liner with clean dry cloth. Repeat steps 3 and 4 until there is no evidence of contaminants on the liner surface. Note, if the liner is to be stored, repeat steps 3 and 5 prior to assembly. Figure 49 shows the honing cross hatch pattern. Measuring liners. After honing, the liner should be measured in planes of parallel right angles to the edge of the crankshaft. Dimensional limits are specified in surface data. Marked used liners, pistons, and stock. Suggest you use the liner, piston liners which are not going back to the engine immediately but are placed in stock, thoroughly cleaned, and inspected. Check for size, dimensions, or check can be chalk marked on the outside of the liners on the crown of the piston. This will allow the liner and piston combination to be selected at a minimum delay. And then it goes into cylinder liner. Cylinder liners. Alright. And your equipment list. This is section 4 cylinder liner. Engine maintenance manual 645.